It feels very similar in luxury to, even Vistic Escalade, but in a much smaller package, which I think a lot of people want premium but don't need, a monster truck to drive around. And let's see if it shows kilowatts on the screen. Good news. It can lane center basically on these back roads, which is great.
That's very useful.
Very useful. Yeah, totally. It's certainly not class-leading tech, but this is what most people probably just want. Dude, it's unbelievably fast.
It's incredible.
Thank you to our sponsors for today's video, Ionna, InfyPower, and Eaton. Ionna, North America's premier charging network. With unmatched commitment to elevating the customer experience, Ionna is opening America's roads to all EVs, giving drivers the coverage they need, the reliability they deserve, and the amenities they crave. Also, InfyPower, the largest EV charger module provider with over 3 million power modules running reliably worldwide. Their latest G2 collection features ultra-high power density and efficiency for EV charging and energy storage integration. InfyPower, innovation for your power. And Eaton. Eaton is a one-stop shop for implementing reliable and innovative EV charging infrastructure at your site. Across all applications, Eaton's EV charging infrastructure, hardware, and software gives you the scalability, flexibility, and intelligence you need to charge today and scale up tomorrow. Learn more at eaton.com/EVCI.
Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. You join me and my buddy Andreas in Michigan. What's up?
A lot.
So this is the new Cadillac OPTIQ-V series. It is the spicy Cadillac OPTIQ. And for those of you who don't know, the Cadillac OPTIQ is the smallest electric SUV Cadillac makes. And it's been surprisingly popular. I've been seeing these on the road in greater numbers, and now Cadillac has come out with a performance-oriented version, and they were cool enough to invite me and Andreas out here to give it a rip, both on road, and I think we're going to M1 Concourse for a little bit of performance stuff, which I'm really curious about. Because with a car like this, you have to blend the line of really focused on everyday driver with a bit of back road canyon carving capability. And yeah, it's got to launch hard because it's a performance electric vehicle, so need the straight line stuff as well. And we are going to be testing all that in this video. I should also mention that the Cadillac OPTIQ has received a really nice powertrain upgrade for model year 26. This goes across the board, where previously it was very similar to the Chevy Equinox electric, where it was front wheel drive as the primary axle or front biased with a little helper motor on the back for the all-wheel drive models. Now that's been switched a little bit like how Polestar went front primary axle to rear primary axle in the Polestar 2. This, less than 1 year after start of production, complete powertrain swap, where now the rear axle is the primary axle across the entire OPTIQ range. So if you're at all into driving, you really want to get a model year 26 OPTIQ because the rear axle is the stronger one. The all-wheel drive model's been updated with huge power, and then you can go all the way to this with over 500 horsepower. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. A little bit of OPTIQ V and a little bit of 2026 OPTIQ updates. Guys, I'd like to say a huge thank you to Blue Eddy for sponsoring this video. They sent over basically a portable 1 kilowatt hour power generator, and I'm so thrilled to be able to share this with you. Just like I added an extra battery to my Nissan Leaf for more range, you can add an extra battery to your life to power whatever you want. All right, let's break into this thing and unbox it. The specs look pretty damn good. To charge this 1 kilowatt hour battery pack, you can go from 0 to 80% in 45 minutes, which is pretty impressive. And of course, it's got a ton of outputs and I'm sure some accessories that come with it. So let's see what we have here. We have our AC charging cable and our solar charging cable. The real unique benefit of this particular power station is the solar charging capability. It can take 1,000 watts of DC solar power, which means it can charge way quicker than almost any other portable 1 kilowatt hour power station on the market. Boom, there you go. Basically a 1 kilowatt hour portable power generator that you can throw in a backpack, bring with you wherever you want. It's almost 12 pounds less than their previous version. It's pretty impressive. So this thing's got some cool tech, like I mentioned, fast charging. This is rated for 4,000 cycles while still retaining 80% capacity. Again, that is the warrantyable capacity. So it'll probably do even a little bit better than that in the real world. Charges super fast, and we just fired it up. They shipped it over with 28% state of charge, proper storage state of charge. And I can even set some limits and monitor all of the in and out wattage flow from the Bluetti app, which is really great. So here I've got that super cool app showing that we're taking 600 watts from the grid right now. I have my AC and DC outputs off at the moment, but I can toggle those on. So I can do 140 watt USB-C or 100 watt for the slow port, which still rips, 2 USB-As, and then 4 AC outputs that can do 1800 watts here. There's also a cranking setting that can go to a peak of over 3000 watt output if something's got to crank on. And there's a lifting setting as well. It has over 2700 watts of lifting power. So this little tiny thing, which again, I can pick up super easily and just bring with me anywhere, packs a major punch. If you're looking for a portable power unit that's whisper quiet, packs a serious punch, and will give you years of reliability with LFP battery cells, look no further than the Bluetti Elite 100 V2. This second generation unit is absolutely awesome. I can't wait to be putting this one to the test all over the place, and I'm sure you'll see it in some upcoming videos as we use it out and about on our adventures. Thanks to Bluetti for sponsoring this video. This is the OPTIQ V, and I guess, how would you know it's the OPTIQ V? Well, it's got blue brake calipers that look pretty damn good. I think some of this is customizable. It's got the V etched on the wheel. And then you've got this very out of place looking V badge down here, which I'm not a fan of. I would pull that off in a heartbeat. Coming around the back, oh boy, carbon spoiler, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Andreas, initial impressions on all the carbon and lips and spoilers on what's really supposed to be a daily driver SUV.
Looks very sporty. I like it.
Okay, they look good going down the road.
Yeah, especially the black one.
Yeah, I'll insert the clip. It looks great.
Yeah.
So you're a fan of the design
Yeah,
updates.
I love the design, yeah.
So not only has the design been updated for the V, you can see the little blue here on the side now.
Oh, yeah.
Because blue is kind of becoming the V color, if you will. If you look inside, all the blue accents around the interior as well to denote the V. Yeah, it's pretty cool, and that's fairly subjective. The suspension's been upgraded as well. You now, instead of just having a frequency response damper, which you get in the standard optics, and I have to say they did a great job on the chassis and suspension on the standard optic. I think this car doesn't get the praise it deserves for that blend of everyday driver comfort with still holding the weight of the car and handling reasonably well on a back road for the standard optic. Always impressed with that, and the Equinox actually. They did a really nice job on the chassis of these two cars. The V now gets stiffer bushings all around, but then they can back the damper off electronically. And so it's basically electric damper control with stiffer bushings. So we'll see how that drives on the road compared to the standard car. And it's got way bigger brakes, and this one's optioned with the super sticky tire. I can't believe they went this hardcore on the tire. Dude, this is a full summer performance tire. It's a Continental Sport Contact 6, but an OE blend specific for the OPTIQ on this 21-inch wheel. And it's cold today, so we're not going to get much use out of that tire. This is really a warm weather tire. But it's kind of interesting to see such an aggressive setup on what's a small-ish SUV that's mostly going to be a daily driver. What's your impression?
Yeah. I mean, I drove it out here.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed driving it. Like it just sits on the road, right? It's hard to, how do you say the body's way? What's the technical
body
term here?
roll.
Body roll, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's almost impossible
It's planted.
It's planted, yeah. So it felt really great.
I totally agree. But then there's some downsides. First of all is the battery pack. It uses the same GM estimated 85 kilowatt hour pack that's in, all-wheel drive Blazer, Equinox, regular OPTIQ. And that, as a whole, the capacity is fine. So the standard OPTIQs get just over 300 miles of range. With the V, you get a little bit stickier tire. The front air dam's been opened up if you come over here and take a look. So this is a little bit less efficient to get all that little bit more airflow. This is 285 miles of EPA rated range. So I'm actually okay with the range figures, Andreas. You said it felt a little low to you?
Yeah, I was thinking a 2026 model, we are almost 2026, should come with like maybe 350 miles of range.
Yeah.
Standard. Just, my initial feeling I got when I saw the range numbers.
Okay. I would say I'm okay with the range on this. I mean, it's They say 85 kilowatt hours usable using the same, Ultium typical NMC cell. We've pulled like 92 kilowatt hours out of this pack. That's a pretty juicy pack.
Yeah.
And we've seen high 2 miles per kilowatt hours just driving up here so far, about an hour. So, and you were ripping on it. I think it's reasonable. Reasonable efficiency, reasonable range. The issue I have is charging performance. 150 kilowatt peak charging, and that's if you have a charger that can deliver 500 amps. You plug this into like an Electrify America 150 kilowatt charger, that's 350 amps. You're going to get like 90 kilowatts on this thing.
Yeah,
it's so low voltage. It's unbelievably, criminally low voltage, can we say. Mary Barra, fix the voltage. This is one of the lowest voltage vehicles on sale, along with the Mini Cooper SE, the Countryman one, and some other stuff. Anyway, it's just, the charging is rough. And we just showed that on our recent race to Vegas, where we took a Blazer and a Prologue, which have the same battery, and you could see how much slower they charge than any other car on that trip. Thankfully, this is the first General Motors vehicle with native NACS. What's your impression of that, Andreas?
I mean, I'm all for NACS, just simplify the charging process.
Yeah, so while the DC fast charging performance is relatively poor, most people, we should recognize, do charge at home, but it does make that trip in this car a little bit longer than it needs to be, I think. And I really think they got to fix this car's charging performance.
Yeah.
However, with the native NACS charger, the Optic V comes standard with an 80 amp, 19.2 kilowatt onboard charger.
Amazing.
You can get a 140 kilowatt hour Rivian that has only a 48 amp onboard charger, 11 kilowatt AC. This is a battery pack that's over 50 kilowatt hours less, or just about 50 kilowatt hours less than the Rivian, and you can have almost double the AC charging performance. So this should be like 4.5 hours, 0 to full, on an 80 amp level 2 station.
Crazy.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So DC sucks, AC rocks. And so I absolutely love that this little tiny car has an 80 amp onboard charger. I think that's the future. And we can eliminate a lot of reliance on DC fast charging stations just by upping the onboard charger capacity and AC chargers out in the wild.
You could even have a little bit of a longer lunch and charge it up to 50% even.
Absolutely.
Crazy.
2 hours is like 50%.
Yeah. Wow.
Amazing. Now I hit this button to close this port, and there we go. This car does support plug-in charge on Tesla Supercharger. What else? Ionna.
Yeah.
A few others.
Don't know.
But you can go through the GM app. It's all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it does have native Tesla Supercharger access, and we did see a supercharger down the street. Let's go plug it in the next clip and just see if plug and charge works, or if it's active on this car. So here's the other problem I have with this car, Andreas.
Which is?
The price.
The price.
Initially going into the V, $67,000 base price for the V. Now, what do you get for that? You get 533 horsepower, is it? It's quite a bit of power. And great acceleration, 3.5 seconds, 0 to 60. But from a real performance standpoint, do they put in here what's needed to give it that real special performance feel? And in general, we'll just move around up here so people can see the front of it. In general, I would say I have an issue with performance-oriented electric cars just as a whole, because when you buy a combustion car and you get the AMG or the M or the V Blackwing, right? You get the startup sound is different, the idle is different, the shift points are different, the experience of driving a performance car is not just present when you're hard throttle, it's in day-to-day living, day-to-day life. When you drive a performance electric vehicle, not only here with this V series, but also I'm driving a Lucid Sapphire this week at home, it drives the same as the normal Lucid Air, which is half the price or less. This in daily driving will drive and does drive pretty much like a normal Optic. It's just slightly less comfortable.
Yeah.
And so it's a really hard sell to get these performance-oriented versions of electric cars. And I say this like standard Model 3 to Model 3 performance, Model Y to Model Y performance. You see them on the road, people go for them because I think the acceleration sells on the test drive, but in actual what they're doing with the vehicle, okay, maybe not kind of worth the money. With that in the back of your mind, if you really do want kind of an exclusive cool car, now we come up to this. Bigger brakes, updated suspension, much better chassis for performance-oriented driving. There is a way to back stability control off, Andreas, called competitive mode, which I'm really looking forward to digging into later on in this video. And I have to say, I think the interior improvements are really nice. Let's take a look in the back seat quick. This isn't a full review of the Optic, of course, because we've already reviewed this car on this channel. Dude, those blue seats, that's crazy.
Yeah, wow.
Do you like that?
It's a bit too flashy. I would prefer a little bit of a darker blue.
Okay.
But it also looks kind of cool.
I think it's kind of cool. I mean,
Yeah.
the whole goal with Optic is to go after a younger audience for the brand and to really get that entry point in before you step up to the big money Escalade stuff or whatever. But honestly, the only people I see are driving these are old people.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's great.
Because we're old.
Yeah, we're old. I mean, we're getting there. One last final point here. To view this in the context of the Model Y performance is important because that's, or Mustang Mach-E GT, that type of thing. There's a Mach-E Rally sitting over there. I don't know if you can see the green one if you zoom all the way in.
Oh, yeah, I see it, yeah.
Yeah, you can see it just the front of it there.
Yeah.
So like that's a direct competitor to this right here. Mach-E might be more a little bit Blazer size, but I would argue they have similar interior space. Yeah. In that car, you can turn traction control all the way off. Can't do that here.
Yeah.
Model Y Performance no longer has track mode. They took it out.
Which I didn't know until you told me.
Yeah, so they have like a stability control reduced. This has a competitive mode, so that should be pretty similar. That's very disappointing to me. And the other thing, I'm just saying that because these are performance-oriented vehicles. You would not buy them unless you're going to do performance stuff with them. The other thing I just want to mention is this is $10,000 more than the Model Y Performance. And what are you gaining versus what are you giving up? Well, let's start with what you're giving up. First of all is efficiency. This has more capacity than the Model Y Performance, but less EPA rated range. So it's going to cost more on a day-to-day basis to drive, and it's going to take longer to charge than the Model Y. So that's a downside. You're giving up the ability to have FSD, but you'd have to pay for that extra on the Model Y. Still, Model Y Performance with FSD is less money than this car.
True.
Okay, this does come with Super Cruise as standard, but that's just for highway usage. Thankfully, it does have Super Cruise on non-mapped roads. So you get lane centering everywhere now. They call it hands-on lane centering. Super thrilled that that's a thing here in this car. And that's a case for most model year 26 GM vehicles. That's a reason to get it over a 25 at least. And what else? Model Y, you don't have to deal with the dealership, which is nice. There is a stigma to driving a Tesla. You can make your mind up. I imagine if you're watching this video thinking about buying this car, you've kind of written Tesla off.
Yeah.
Because on paper, that car is faster, $10,000 less, and goes farther, and should handle just as well, if not better, based off of previous Model Y performance driving. That it kind of makes this irrelevant on paper. What's your impression?
Yeah, I agree. I guess it's also what do you prefer interior-wise? Like,
Yeah.
Tesla's obviously minimalistic. Here you have
This is a nice interior.
A nice
Really,
interior,
really
a lot
nice
of buttons, a lot of options.
We should also say it's got a great sound system, but so does Model Y.
Yep.
And but this has like that whole Dolby experience, which I'm not a fan of Dolby Atmos. I'm kind of a Dolby Atmos hater because I don't like hearing sounds fly around me. I like a real old school 2-channel type vibe, or just a typical upmix surround. Regardless of how you listen to your music, this was a really good sound system. I still think Model Y is better, dude.
Yeah, sound system. I mean, yeah, Tesla was, when it comes to soundness,
They're
it's always
great.
Stellar.
Yeah.
Without trying to sound like a
Tesla fanboy over
here,
here, but it's just on
this
paper,
sound
it's
is just really good.
hard to ignore that car. So
Yeah.
with that in mind, let's go drive the Cadillac OPTIQ-V.
Let's drive it.
Well, Andreas, good morning. What are you drinking?
This is a candy cane latte
Oh.
or corn candy latte.
Candy corn latte.
Yeah, I think so. I don't remember.
I saw the sign in there. I didn't know
Yeah.
that's what you got.
Yeah, that's what I got.
I went for the old Starbucks cold brew.
Yeah, the healthier option.
That's right. Gotta keep it lean.
Lean.
All right, so first things first, we've already done, like I mentioned, all the Optic reviews. No real difference on the interior here other than the blue accents. Software-wise, there's a few changes with the V, where you get V button on the steering wheel. We'll talk about that later on. But when you go to the Sport gauge, it actually gives you a torque in Newton meters divided by 100. Because everyone thinks about torque in terms of Newton meters in our country.
Right.
Because we like to use the cheeseburgers method. How many cheeseburgers does that thing make? No, it should be foot-pounds, I think. But, Newton meters, you can do your own internal calculations. That's how Cadillac badges them. That's why it's like the Escalade 600 or 900. It's because it's like rounding up to the nearest 100 Newton meters that it can produce. Annoying. Anyway, we'll ignore that menu. I'm just going to keep it in the typical Tour setting. Other than that, the screens never get bright enough in Cadillacs. They stay too dim, especially the driver instrument cluster. And the head-up display, same issue as well. Doesn't get bright enough. But let's see if I can adjust the head-up display brightness all the way. Oh, that does help a bit. You know what? Ignore my head-up display brightness comments. It's just this main display.
You happy?
Happy now.
Good.
So we are going to go to M1 Concourse. We love going to tracks. We filmed a few out-of-spec videos there before. And rock and roll. Boom, 45-minute drive. We could take back roads for an extra 3 minutes. What do you think? I think we should do that.
It's a prettier drive, I would say.
Yeah,
as
let's
much
do
as I
that.
love interstates. But
Into drive. And there's a few different drive modes before we get going, Andreas, in this car. There is Tour, Sport, Snow and Ice, My Mode, and V Mode. We'll get into V Mode later when we get to the track. But for now, we're going to do a street drive. So I'm going to adjust how I want the car to perform here. Maybe if you wouldn't mind just taking a quick clip from this angle. So I'm going to start with steering in Tour, which should be a more electric assist to make it lighter. Something I'm going to be looking out for is if Cadillac has sharpened the steering ratio. All of these Ultium vehicles have the world's slowest steering ratio, so you're constantly having to work the wheel, and it is kind of annoying. I made a big point of that in my Cadillac Vistiq review, where you're just constantly working the wheel. Suspension, because this again is the V series car, has the adaptive suspension. We'll keep it in Tour mode. I really want to make sure that this car is comfortable on the daily drive. There's a brake feel. This is a brake-by-wire system, so you can adjust the pedal response. Typically, Tour is really nice. We'll keep that as well, maybe out of Sport. There is a reduced or relaxed acceleration feel, a Tour mode, and a Sport acceleration. It's the V-Series car. We got to keep it in Sport. And I have to really commend the folks at Cadillac for letting us turn off the fake motor sound. That is so nice.
yeah.
And you can also keep the sound off when you're in V mode, which you can't do in other GM products when you go in their performance mode. So here you can get in, hit V, you get all the power, everything else, but you can keep the stupid background sound off. Some people like it. I'm just not a fan. So steering ratio, oh, I can already tell you it's pretty long. It's not as bad as some other models are. So it does feel like maybe it has a little bit of a quicker rack in there, but I always have this other problem, Andreas, where I can't get the wheel to come out enough.
Is that max?
That's max.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately. And it's probably for safety, for airbag stuff, but like other cars let me just get a perfect seating position, especially the Germans. You would think they also care about safety, so I'm not sure that's the only rule here.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Let's get out on the road. We'll go see how this thing feels. And the first thing we're going to look at is if the OPTIQ V is comfortable enough on the daily drive. Then we'll do all the performance things later on. So, Andreas, as we make our way out on the open road, you've actually driven this all the way out here to the start. So I'd love to hear, some of your impressions of what it was like to drive. As a passenger, really quick, I would say very impressed with the sound system. I love that it has massaging seats. It's like a really... you can get, it feels very similar in luxury to, even Vistiq Escalade, but in a much smaller package, which I think a lot of people want premium, but don't need, a monster truck to drive around.
Yeah, that's right. Initial impressions were very good. I really like that it's planted on the road. It's hard to, even if you take it into turns, really, harshly, it's just, you feel safe.
Yeah.
It stays within the lane.
Yeah, it doesn't really seem fun per se. There's no oversteering character or anything like that, but it's very nicely balanced, and you can kind of drive it really quick without worrying about it.
Exactly, yeah.
Polestar 2 was kind of like that, actually.
Okay.
I always remember, Polestar 2 Performance, it was never the Drift King or anything like that, but you could just throw that car into corners and not worry about it, especially with the Performance Pack. And while this doesn't have some of that sharp character that car possessed, I think the chassis responds very similarly.
Yeah, body control is really... Yeah, they did a good job on that.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I think that's maybe the highlight of this car. The powertrain also is very good.
Yeah, we did one, 0 to 60 run.
Yeah, wow.
It's fast.
It would really shocked me how quick this thing got off the line.
Especially the first, 0 to 20, 0 to 30.
Yeah.
Bam.
And we'll actually get one that's fully charged out on the drag strip later on so that we can experience it. Because this car outputs more power than the standard Optic, you probably lose max power a bit earlier. And so some of the engineers were saying, yeah, once you get down to like 40%, that's when you really do feel it cut back. But they're outputting 1,500 amps from this battery under peak load. They need to because it's such low voltage.
That's right, yeah. Need the amps.
And it is a dual permanent magnet motor system. So no clutch disconnects, but they've done a lot of work on adjusting the half shafts, adjusting the windage losses inside the motor, some inverter tweaks as well to really get more efficiency. So for example, the Optic all-wheel drive, the long-range all-wheel drive model, has gained like 100 horsepower and also gained 1 mile of range.
Okay. Yay.
Pretty cool. And I really like with electric cars, they like you can go big power, but still get the same or if not better efficiency.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's pretty cool. Cool. Well, my initial impression driving this is it has, the same pedal calibration, the same everything as other GM products, but smoother, especially for model year 26.
Yeah.
So going drive to reverse, you don't get one pedal drive in reverse, but I think that's a problem. But you don't get this huge knock anymore. In early Ultium vehicles, you can't call them Ultium anymore, you would get this tunk every time you'd go drive to reverse. And now you get just smooth gear shifting, which is like a basic thing you would think, yes, it should be smooth. But General Motors have done a lot for their vehicles over the last maybe 2 years, especially 8 months to the last year of new products and software updates to smooth out the charging performances in hot weather, even with AC on, to make the drive lines much more robust and stable. And I actually had a model year 2026 Optic all-wheel drive on track when I was judging Motor Trend SUV of the Year this year. And I was sending it around. And dude, it was totally good. Like it's not a super performant vehicle, but it handles the weight really well. The brake pedal feels good. It was really a nice all-around package. I get why people like this car.
Awesome.
And now the added benefit of having a model year 26 vehicle with Super Cruise is I can actually get my cruise control set here, for example, and I can turn on lane centering. Maybe not on a road this tight, but you can have hands-free or hands-on lane centering, which is essentially just what every other car has, where it's, does the lane centering on non-pre-mapped roads, and then when you get on the highway, you Super Cruise. Right. So here we go, lane centering active. Keep your hands on.
Sweet.
It's a little bit, as you can see there, hesitant to activate at times. Like, let's see how it does this corner. But this makes day-to-day life so nice if you're just cruising around. So it did that corner pretty terribly. It hit the line, but it at least attempted. And if you're just cruising on back roads or whatever, like this is a great feature. Like where I live, there's almost no pre-mapped roads between, around the track. And so using this system is, having something like this is a night and day difference where it used to be where I would never buy a GM vehicle unless it could do this. Now, it can lane center basically on these back roads, which is great.
That's very useful.
Very useful. Yeah, totally. It's certainly not class-leading tech, but this is what most people probably just want.
Yep.
Ride quality, Andreas. Let's talk about this because does it feel less comfortable than the normal Optic? I would say yes.
Haven't driven the Optic, so can't say. I can compare it to a Model Y.
Yeah.
I would say similar. You think it's... What did you say? You think the Model Y is less comfortable? Or?
Yeah, the Model Y has these big porpoising body motions that this doesn't have. This is really nicely dialed in. But what I think they've done here is they've gone pretty stiff on all the bushings around the car. So, all of the suspension, connecting bushings are like 50, 100, 150% stiffer than the standard car. Right. And then they're trying to rely on the damper by softening that up to compensate. But you still get a little bit more especially secondary road texture feedback into the cabin.
Yeah, that's what I felt.
Yeah, so when you hit little cracks in the road, you're just kind of getting a little jittered around.
Yeah.
Versus the normal Optic is a little bit squishier, but that fits the character of the car.
Yeah, of course.
So I think given the context of the performance model, it makes sense. It's really nicely done. When you put this into sport mode, it gets stiff.
Yeah.
But on a back road, also fun.
Yeah.
Also pretty enjoyable. So we'll get up on to high-speed cruising, go drive this thing around a little bit. I'd love to go find a supercharger to plug it into.
Yeah.
We forgot to do that.
Oh,
Maybe
we did.
we'll flip around, actually.
Yeah.
And find the nearest supercharger, see how that goes. Because it'll be the first time we've driven a GM vehicle with native NACS.
Yeah.
And yeah, Silverado work truck
Silverado
right there.
EV, yeah.
Yeah, very cool. So see you guys at the next clip. Who knows? Hopefully there's a supercharger nearby. We are rolling up to the supercharger in Brighton, Michigan. Cool OG Model S, but still with AP1. And a nice Hummer from a dealership just rolled up. I say we go all the way down this way.
Yep.
So these V4 dispensers should be long enough to reach the Optic's less than stellar charge port location. I'm going to park like this pretty far away. Let's see if it reaches. So one nice thing we should mention about the Optic, Andreas, is while there is no phone as a key, do you have the key actually? Yep. You do have this nice blue V key.
Oh, yeah.
So you can show off to your friends.
Exactly.
But, you know, a phone should just be a cell phone.
Yeah,
Or a
nowadays.
key should just be a cell phone.
Yeah.
Blue seat belts.
Oh, yeah.
No start button in this car, like it should be. Every GM's this way too. Just on, drive, park, walk away.
Yeah, how it should be.
Yeah, exactly. And there is no dog mode, but you can keep the car on with a simple trick.
Show us the trick.
So when the car is off, hit the accelerator pedal to the floor 3 times. 1, 2, 3. It'll power on. Then hit the brake pedal, and now it says automatic shutdown off.
Much easier than a dog mode button.
And you can't monitor the temperature from your app.
Yeah.
Oh, the Hummer gave up.
Oh, no.
Maybe he didn't have a NACS adapter.
Oh, that's sad.
See, this... Oh, yeah, he just gave up. Oh, dude.
Could have helped him.
We could have helped. He didn't even know. We got the YouTubers right here. We'll get you charging.
God, come back, sir.
Okay, and now it's dinging at me. Let's get out of here. We have arrived to the supercharger, and it is a nice version 4 dispenser location with V3 cabinets. And these are especially important to use when you're talking about an Optic or Blazer with the small battery. Because this car is so low voltage, it really needs 500 amps for a while. And you want the V4 dispenser that has the oil immersion cooled cable, because on a warm day, like a version 3 Tesla supercharger, will actually overheat. Now, is this cable gonna be long enough? No way, it won't.
Really?
Yeah, so I still got to pull up more. All right, let me go real quick. All right, whoa, and it fell out. I was just praising V4 superchargers, but this whole plugging in, locking, this won't actually stay in the adapter, Andreas.
The locking is... It's always been weird.
It's impossible. Look, I let go, and
Oh
it
my God.
falls. How was it in there when we got here?
Not sure. Magic.
Now let's see if this car is plug-in charged, enabled. In we go. It's possible GM didn't set it up with an account. It's possible they did. You have the key on you, or do I?
No, it's
in my pocket. So it has walk away lock at least.
Oh, okay.
Which is nice.
Yeah. Quick comment. I think that the charge port could be smaller since it's just like a NACS.
Yeah. So this is a global vehicle. So it has to support NACS,
I see, okay.
CCS 1 and 2, and GBT, which is 2 separate ports.
Okay.
Funny enough, this car started being sold in China before North America by months.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it says not charging. So probably doesn't have plug-in charge enabled.
Yeah.
I'll activate it with the Tesla app. The other reason I kind of want to charge it up, Andreas, first of all, we selected the charger, it automatically preconditioned, and we got here. It feels pretty slow at 50%.
It does feel pretty slow, yeah.
So like somewhere between 80 and 50%, you get a big power dip.
Yeah.
All right, let me use that phone. I got to activate this.
Okay.
As soon as I went in the app, hit start charging on 1B, boom, we're starting to rip. I guess no one has hooked up a credit card to this car, but it didn't fault. We were able to keep it plugged in for a while and activate the charging session.
Yep.
Dude, really cold and windy out here.
Yeah. I'm freezing.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can see this is now flashing green around here, which is a good indication. It also did the typical General Motors beep, the beep, once it starts charging. And let's see if it shows kilowatts on the screen. Good news.
Good news.
It does. Show everyone that right there.
Oh, nice.
So let's see, it shows what the car is getting on the left and what the charger's offering on the right. Is that possible?
Oh, that's interesting.
What do those two numbers mean? They're moving around.
I wonder if it's what's still being delivered.
Versus what's going into the battery?
Yeah, maybe.
So, you would think you would show the delivered number first, which should be the higher one.
Yeah.
That's a little bit interesting.
Oh, the nice animation here.
Yeah. Why are we only doing 70 kilowatts at 53%? Is that what these things do? I have to look up our charging logs on this, but it should be doing 150 kilowatts or more at 50%. It's a 90 kilowatt hour pack. GM quotes 85, but it's more. We get like 90 to 92 out of these things in our testing.
Yeah.
I don't know why they always underrate their batteries, but dude, yeah, it's only doing 70 kilowatts. Could be still slightly cold battery. Maybe it didn't precondition enough.
Copy. I mean, we only navigated here like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah,
so,
that's right. 10 minutes. Whatever. At least we'll have a charging log on this at some point. It's just lackluster charging regardless. Okay, cool. Well, that works. First time we've ever plugged in a GM vehicle with native NACS. Check. Really nice. I agree, ChargePort's too big. They should do a North American specific ChargePort.
But I get it from a manufacturing point
But
of
the
view.
China cars are built in China.
Yeah, true.
So just do a slight body and white change.
Same parts, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Don't know. Do we have any light animation up here? Yes. The headlight is doing a little flowing thing. Cadillac's really got the lighting down.
That looks cool.
Yeah. I think it's a good looking car, dude.
Yeah, it looks great.
When I see these on the road, I go, oh, cool, an Optic.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just give me three times the charging performance for $70,000. Come on.
Yeah.
It's not a cheap car. All right, let's go keep driving.
Okay.
Dude, this is genuinely how fast the car wants to charge. 60 kilowatts at 56%.
Nah.
I mean, it isn't, I mean, it's 54 degrees. We did precondition for about 10 or 15 minutes.
We did.
Regardless, that sucks.
This is way too low.
Yeah, this is what the deal breaker is on this car for me. It's the charging.
Yeah, not a road tripper.
No, but if you're maybe charging at home every day, but why would you want to spend more money on a car that has limitations?
Agreed.
Yeah, that's rough. So, that's just not cool, man. Got to go Escalade for the big boy charging. I think we must be a little thermally limited on the battery. Certainly not the charging station.
Certainly not the charging.
No one's here. And yeah, we're up to 62 kilowatts at 62%.
God.
It's like we're back in 2012 over here. Okay. Those guys, they had easy work with this one. But, you know, GM makes some great fast charging vehicles with the Escalade and Hummer. Now, is this going to be able to fit back in here? Or are we screwed? Oh, it stayed. Great. Yeah, I really think they got to work on their whole handle cable situation for V4. Superchargers, that might be in another video. Anyway, off to M1 Concourse.
How did you get it to hold?
Magic touch, baby.
Nice.
All right, let's see if it's any faster now. Launch control.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Dude, it's unbelievably fast.
It's incredible.
Yeah. so like it's 3.5 seconds 0 to 60. What's Model 3 performance? Like 2.9?
I think 2.9, right?
Yeah, this feels just as hard of a launch.
Yeah.
I think it just dies when you hit like 30.
Yeah.
It's just, here's everything from 0.
Wow.
It really feels like you get rear-ended when you launch this thing.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it can grip that hard in this temperature. Wow.
That's fun.
That is pretty
Can't
fun.
wait for the drag strip.
Yeah, when we're full charge. But it could have been not state of charge limiting power. It could have been temperature of the battery.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, now I've got the racing spirit.
Oh, yeah.
Let's try it one more time. One quick hit. 20 miles an hour.
Okay.
Now, that's where it feels lame. You
Yeah.
can see the torque drop straight off there.
Yeah.
It's just the launch.
Yeah. Just a 0 to 20, 0 to 30.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. That's what sells the car on the test drive. That's why people drop like an extra 15 grand.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
No.
You join us doing the Cadillac thing, cruising the American interstate.
96.
That's right.
996.
Headed towards Detroit, and then we'll blast up to M1. Dude, first of all, very quiet on the highway.
Very quiet, yeah.
Wind noise, totally dialed in. Road noise, pretty dialed in.
It's got double paned glass, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know about the rear, though. Why don't you check that rear window? We'll pop it down for you.
What to say? Gotta do a direct curves. I think it's only the front.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very quiet, and I think there's some active noise cancellation happening, because earlier we felt, sometimes when you're in cars with active noise cancellation, you feel that like Bose headphone pressure.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I hate it.
Yeah. So I think there's some of that synthetic quieting down happening. Yeah. What else should we mention? Super Cruise is great on the highway in terms of just keeping its lane, doing its thing. You had some issues with it, though. I don't. So what's your issue with Super Cruise?
Yeah, I don't want to say issues, but it just feels like it's unsure what it's doing. Like even now, it's like slightly adjusting the steering wheel.
Yeah.
All the time. It just doesn't give me the confidence. I don't know. Even though it's totally fine, it works.
Yeah.
But it's just like now we're drifting to the right a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's not like planted within the lane, but maybe that's just how it's designed,
Right. Yeah. Don't know. I have no real issues with Super Cruise. I do think you got to stay on top of it. I've had it mess up a couple times on me, but in general, it does a fine job. And I really do love how you can keep the system on even when a road is non-pre-mapped.
Yeah.
The only downside to cruising on the highway in this car, and automatic lane change doing its thing here, is you do get quite a bit of tire slap over those road textures.
Yeah.
So you hear a lot of just tire impact noise. I wonder if that would go down if you spec the all-season tire, because this is a pretty aggressive summer tire. We are phantom braking.
Yeah.
I don't know for what. Maybe for this guy.
I think we had the same situation earlier when the truck came a little bit over to the left.
It's almost like the radar's angled a little off, because we also got some false forward collision warnings.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So in dense like city environment, it was flashing up on you, right?
Yeah.
The collision warning.
Yeah. It's a very big red box. It's like
it almost blocks your vision.
It does. Yeah.
So it's like, let me just make you not see anything before you crash.
Exactly.
But I've had this issue with a lot of Cadillacs, especially starting from Lyric and up, where they do false forward collision warnings on me randomly.
Yeah.
Digital rearview mirror is nice, I should say, but this is quite in my field of view. This mirror and cluster up here.
Yeah. It's Oh, another one.
Another one. This truck's not even in our lane, and it's slamming on the brakes for him. Like, we just dropped 10 miles an hour. It would freak someone out behind us. And look, it's still not passing. I can see where it sees the car, and it's going away right here. So something's misaligned. And this is not the first Cadillac I've driven that does it. Look at this. It still thinks he's coming into our lane.
Yeah.
He's on the left side of his lane, but let's go. This is not good, dude.
Barely. Yeah.
I can pull up the assist menu. Maybe people will be able to see it better. Oh, there! It keeps popping up occasionally, like there's a car.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Nah.
Yep. So Super Cruise needs work.
So that's what I mean. Yeah. It's like,
Jittery, not totally confidence inspiring. Yeah. I'm with you on that. Okay, so that's the highway stuff. I mean, suspension's more than comfortable enough. It's quiet enough for sure. And I think if you got the standard tire, not these performance tires, you would have less tire slap over all these expansion joints and cracks and stuff. It felt like it was going to go for a lane change, canceled, and now it's going again.
Now it's going. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Huh.
Can't wait for the next iteration. This has kind of been the same for years now, and it feels old at this point.
Yeah.
Like, when Super Cruise first came out, I was like, wow, that is locked in, so good. And now, we just expect a little bit more from Super Cruise, like all this wandering.
It's just drifted towards the truck. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so that needs some work. All right, well, let's head over to M1 Concourse. We'll see everyone over there for some performance testing of the OPTIQ V series. Is it V series or V, Andreas?
I don't know.
I've heard them pronounce it both ways now. I think technically it's V series.
V series? Okay.
But they say there's no difference between V and V series.
Okay.
It's Blackwing that denotes the track capability.
Okay.
So it's only the CT5 is a Blackwing. That's the only one.
Sounds sick.
It is. That's like my dream car. Manual Blackwing. If they put a good stereo in that car and Super Cruise, I'd be driving one.
Yeah.
But you can't get lane centering if you get a manual.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So I want both.
Yeah.
All right. See ya here.
See ya here.
Shout out Blanca Lirio.
Blanca Lirio.
Okay, folks, now it's my turn to have a go on the autocross course in the Optic V. I heard the pro time is 28.8. Took him 6 tries. I only get 2 tries, so I'm really hoping to just get under 30 seconds here. I'm seeing some other journalists in the low 30s. We got to keep the out-of-spec name going. It's always a competition. So I'm going to go drive modes, hit V, turn on competitive mode, motor sound off, steering in comfort, because we're going to have to work it really hard. And we're charged up to, I have no idea. It just says 178 miles. We'll have to see. So, Andreas.
Yes, sir.
You can drift these things in competitive mode.
Yeah.
And we talked to the guys about the steering ratio, and they're all like, oh, we knew you were going to give us shit for that.
Noted.
Noted. So they heard the feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're cool guys.
They're cool guys.
The chat, they're all engineers.
Yeah,
They're
awesome.
just trying to do what they can with the given constraints. Yeah. But I'm surprised at how, like, I saw a guy out there, like, legit sliding this thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's very encouraging behavior.
Yep.
I'm going to go 1-pedal drive on normal for this. Are you ready to experience the launch performance of the Cadillac OPTIQ V?
Yes, sir.
Which is surprisingly aggressive.
It is so aggressive.
It's crazy.
0 to 20, 0 to 30.
Yeah.
It's just...
And then it dies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just can't get the current output and the voltage sags.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're like, yeah, we know. The Lyric V makes 100 more horsepower with the same amperage draw, just because of the more battery cells.
Yep.
All right, let's line it up. You ready to do this thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Want me to record this from this angle too?
Yeah, I really want to see what state of charge we're at. So if I go here to layout energy, it actually gives me 70%. We're not totally up there, but it should be good.
Yep.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. Whoa! Little traction control hit. And there's 60 and 3.7. Still not full power. You can tell it's a little bit voltage saggy. Still cool. Competitive mode's on, and I'm going to drop you here at the timing booth.
That's good.
So we can try and get a good timing.
Good.
We got to drop the weight.
120 pounds.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, haven't seen the course really much, but we're going to give it our best to just get through it, and then we're going to rip. So, launch control on, 3, 2, 1. Trying to get through. Okay, so that's not the correct way to go. I think we started timing. We started timing before I launched.
Yeah.
So I got to stop. Yeah. Yeah. We'll go again. All right. That was, this is where we need to start from, back here. All right, so, and now we go for the full thing. Let me double check that I'm in. Competitive mode is on. Car feels just like you're working the wheel. Likes to turn though, pretty good. Into drive, launch control, 3, 2, 1, go. Better launch. Really just leaning it on that edge. A lot of brake stuff happening here. Turn, baby, turn. Yeah, 28.9. There we go. Nice. Well under 30. So that's what we're talking about, baby. Yeah. All right.
Well done, sir.
I think fastest journalist of the day.
Yeah.
So like, you know, obviously not ripping on track, way too much traction control-y stuff, but I did just hear you can go full ESC off up to high speed, which is pretty good. I'd love to try it full off, but just so much brake-based torque vectoring happening as we drive, so all is good. So there we go. Hey guys, you join me here with Alex, and Alex is a huge
responsibility inside of Optic. So you're one of us, hardcore, driver, stuff like that. You actually set the benchmark time that we were all trying to beat. And dude, congrats on getting a 28.8, right?
Yeah.
Nice, very cool. So tell us a little bit about the setup on the car, and before we get into that, what did you guys do for model year 26? Because that's been kind of the underground story happening with this car.
Yeah, exactly. We're obviously really excited to announce the V Series, but there's a lot more going on with model year 26 updates than just the V Series. So we introduced the Optic in model year 25 as what we call an e-all-wheel drive drivetrain system. And what that means is it's primarily a front-wheel drive based system. Big electric motor in the front, little electric motor in the rear to give you all-wheel drive traction. For model year 26, we wanted to do a V Series, and V Series means power, right? We needed more power than what that front-wheel drive based system was able to provide. So we went back to the drawing board and we said, hey, we need to be able to fit the electric motors from the Lyric and Vistic lineup into an Optic, right?
We all know how Vistic rips and Lyric V rips.
Exactly, right? So we needed that in this smaller, more nimble Optic chassis. And he said, you know what? Let's not just stop with the V Series. Let's make the whole lineup more capable, right? And so the rear-wheel drive and the performance all-wheel drive non-V standard optics were born for model year 26. And it really came as a roll down in technology from what we wanted to do with the V Series. And it's kind of overshadowed by the launch of the V, and that's a little bit of a shame, because when you get in our rear-wheel drive offering, for example, from model year 26, it's a really nice car, and it's amazing how moving that torque application from the front to the rear just kind of wakes up the car, gives it a more lively chassis character, propulsion character, and at a cheaper price point that we're actually really proud of.
Yeah, and I would say having a rear bias platform, when I met with some of your colleagues when we first looked at the prototype,
right.
I was like, guys, great interior, car looks good. Why is a Cadillac front wheel based?
Yeah.
I'm like, what is going on here? And here we are less than a year later, completely fixed, and now like, dude, a performance all-wheel drive, 400 something horsepower, like that's crazy.
It's a lot of fun, right? And a really luxurious package at a great price point as well. Right?
So when you went from, obviously going with the primary axle, moving to a different axle, which almost never happens, and this isn't even a mid-cycle refresh,
right.
It's just a model year change,
right.
Which is crazy to think about. I mean, I guess the only other brand I can think of that did that is Polestar 2 when they went front drive to rear drive. Mm-hmm. What else did you change for model year 26? Is it just powertrain? Because the battery's the same, NACS charging port's new.
Right, obviously. So the battery is actually exactly the same, right? So it's the electric motors in that drivetrain layout, as you mentioned, the NACS charging. Those are the big differences, and obviously the introduction of the V Series comes with its own host of big changes from the standard vehicle.
So tell us about those, because even just looking at it, I can see obviously carbon bits everywhere. You can see a larger front air opening to get more cooling, I would imagine. What else is going on?
Right. So we mentioned the propulsion layout, and we bring the V Series specific electronic controls for that propulsion. If you're familiar with your Lyric V, it has the same setup in terms of Velocity Max, right? And what the Velocity Max propulsion feature does, specific for the V Series, is it allows more current output from the battery, right? And it's 300 amps more output than the standard base all-wheel drive vehicle is.
Yeah, so that's a 1200 amp in the standard. This is 1500.
Absolutely
right?
correct.
Okay.
Yes, and that's what enables our peak power and torque ratings that we're advertising the vehicle, as well as the 3.5 second IVM to 60 time.
And the launch is crazy. It really gets off the hole.
It's a lot of fun, right? But it doesn't stop with the propulsion, right? V Series is about the chassis as much as it is about the propulsion. And that's really where I think this car shines, specifically, not just in our EV portfolio, but just in our portfolio in general. This chassis is a lot of fun to drive. And it's something that was really a mission for the vehicle. It's our entry-level electric V Series, right? It's at a lower price point. We're targeting a younger, more youthful customer, someone who's expecting something a little bit smaller, more fun to drive, more agile, someone they would expect to push the car harder and more often. And we've engineered the chassis to do exactly that, right? And it really starts with the tire, right? It starts with what touches the road.
Always. And my favorite people always start at the tire.
The tire is 90% of it, and then the rest is just making the car work for the tire. And that's exactly what we've done here, right?
So tell us what you got going on in OE Continental Sport Contact 6.
Absolutely. And this is a unique compound specific for electric vehicles. It is like you mentioned, a Sport Contact 6, but it's a Sport Contact 6 that we made sure to balance overall grip and response without giving up too much range, right? So with electric vehicles, range is obviously very important. And from a tire aspect, what that means is managing what we call the rolling resistance in the tire. Well, a tire that has low rolling resistance doesn't have any grip, right? So for a V Series, that proposition is a little bit different than what you would see from the base vehicle.
Totally.
But what's cool about the V is we give our customers the option. For the customer who wants to prioritize range and rolling resistance as well as all-weather traction, the all-season is actually standard on this V Series, right? So we give our customer the choice. Obviously, we're showing you the performance tire here today with the Autocross course. This is really the tire that we engineered the chassis around. It's the tire that makes the V a V. And it's something we're really excited about.
And I think you can't understate how nicely tuned the chassis is here. I mean, we've driven this car's whole competitive set. This still is not a harsh vehicle. You do get the secondary road texture through compared to the standard car, but the compliance over large inputs is really nice. No back spine jarring. I sat in the back seat too, thought, no car sickness, no porpoising, nothing like that. Like, it's really nicely tuned considering it is the sporty model.
Absolutely. And that's something that we absolutely prioritize in all V Series. Right? We call it the bi-modality of the car, right? It's still a luxury crossover, right? And it has to ride like one, it has to be comfortable. And you almost, in tour mode, you almost don't want to know you're in a V Series.
Totally.
You don't want to know you're in a hardcore machine, but then at the press of a button, you can unlock a chassis that's way more capable than you ever thought possible.
Also, I was really impressed with competitive mode in general. Yeah, you do, it's open diff front and rear. You're still doing brakes to transfer torque.
Exactly.
So you hear the box clicking away every time you're trying to control wheel spin. Considering the use case of this car, I think it's appropriate.
Right.
And it also was surprisingly fun out on the autocross course. Saw a few people out there full tail out, which is good. But I heard you can actually turn ESC off in V Series cars and they don't turn themselves back on.
Correct. And I think you've probably noticed in our standard vehicles, you reach a certain speed threshold and that stability control turns back on, is I think what you're referring to.
Yeah, exactly.
And really that means, in a standard vehicle, we expect that a customer would turn the stability control off in a situation where they're trying to get unstuck, right? So there's a low vehicle speed situation. We recognize that a V Series customer may have a little bit different use case for the vehicle, right? And that's exactly why we have that distinction. But the fun part is, at least if you're an engineering nerd like me, you actually don't want to turn those features off, because in competitive mode, it works to your advantage. The car is not only faster, but it's more fun to drive in competitive mode.
Right.
And that's because we do a whole host of a suite of chassis features in competitive mode that you don't get in full system off. Primarily the brake torque vectoring that you mentioned, that simulates a limited slip differential to prevent inside wheel spin, and you noted that on the autocross course.
Yep.
And the other couple super important things it does is it relaxes the stability control, it lets you get sideways, and it also manages the torque application of our motors. If you think about an ICE all-wheel drive vehicle, you have an engine and that makes all the torque, right? And then you go to a center differential and you make engineering decisions about how you distribute that torque to the front and rear axles. In a dual motor all-wheel drive EV, you have, in this car, roughly 40% of your torque stuck on the front axle and roughly 60% stuck on the rear. And you can't just take that torque and move it to the rear.
That's right.
It's already there. But because it's an electric motor with extremely precise control of the torque application, you can be really smart about when and how you apply it. And in competitive mode, we do that to make this car feel and drive like a rear-wheel drive car. So if you're in the middle of a corner, you have high lat in the car, and you start feeding an accelerator, we're not going to give you any front torque. We're going to give you all rear torque.
Amazing. Music to my ears.
Yeah, and then as you exit the corner, you start unwinding the wheel, you pull lateral acceleration out of the vehicle, we're going to feed that front torque back in, and then you get corner exit all-wheel drive performance. And that's really the magic in competitive mode, and that's what makes it more fun and faster to drive. So really, there's not a whole lot of reason to turn that system off.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool. I'm totally with you. Competitive mode seems like the answer if you want to go, on a canyon, on a track day. That's kind of the answer. The one thing we haven't touched on yet is the adaptive damper.
Yep.
And also the braking system. So maybe we can touch on those two components.
Yeah, so we start with the brakes, upgraded from the standard vehicle, obviously. We have a 6-piston fixed Brembo caliper up front. The rear system is shared with the base vehicle. That's a single piston sliding caliper.
Yep.
Even in a heavy EV like this with roughly a 50-50 mass distribution, the front brakes are doing most of the work here, right? And so that's where the upgrade comes. We also give the customer 2 different brake pad options.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, that's important for V-Series. We expect the vast majority of our customers who aren't going to be autocrossing this car, aren't going to be thrashing it in back roads, right? To option what we call our standard brake pad, and that's going to be your low dust, your low noise, your daily driver brake pad, right? But for the customer who wants to push the brakes a little bit harder, we do offer a low metallic lining, a semi-metallic lining that's going to be a little bit noisier, produce a little bit more brake dust, but have a lot better thermal resistance, right? And
that's important not only from a braking perspective, but also when you're transferring torque across the
car.
It's grab and brake that whole time.
Absolutely, and the speed and efficiency with which it does that, the brake pad affects that.
And how do you know what brake pad an Optic has? Is there a telltale if you're looking at it to say, oh, you got the performance brakes or not?
Unless you're listening for the noise and the dust and you know the difference, you'd have to go to the order form to know, or you'd have to look at the part numbers.
Right, makes sense. So, but that's
there's no
cool.
badging that says so.
Okay, yeah, no, very interesting. And then the suspension, you've gone from basically a passively responsive damper, which basically takes your input frequency to adjust the output frequency with the standard car.
Right.
And now you've gone with a powered, basically magnetic damper, I guess.
It's what we call a valve-based adaptive damper.
Okay.
It's supplied by our friends at Sachs Performance Dampers from ZF. They have a storied pedigree in Formula One and in motor racing in general. And this damper specifically is different from the magnetic damper that you mentioned. It's valve-based with a solenoid.
Yep.
So it is still adaptive. It still has wires.
Is it a single valve?
It's a single valve,
okay,
right?
So it does compression and rebound.
It does compression and rebound with one solenoid, correct?
Yep.
But if you're familiar with the Lyric V, we actually have a distinction in the valve-based technology that we have between the Lyric V and the Optic V, and it's targeted exactly at the customer that each vehicle is targeted at, right? So the Lyric V, that adaptive solenoid is on the outside of the damper. And because of the fluid circuitry within the damper, what that enables is a soft, compliant, on-center, relaxed, comfortable, isolated ride. So that's what we consider a grand touring damper. So a Lyric V is our grand touring, comfortable V series, right? The Optic V I mentioned earlier is more the youthful, agile driving experience, right? We want something that's a little bit tighter, a little bit sportier feeling. So if you take that solenoid and you move it inside the damper onto the piston, what that allows for is faster hydraulic response time. And that's what gives the Optic V a little bit tighter character. You mentioned, you feel a little bit more road texture. Maybe you hear the bumps a little bit more, but it gives the car this like taut stance on center that really gives it that agile driving experience, and that's exactly what we're going for with this vehicle.
And I should also compliment you as well. Switching between tour and sport setting on the damper is a massive difference. I mean, you really get 2 different characters of car here.
Yes,
and
in one car, no compromises.
It's amazing, and I also have to really compliment your software engineers for at least, some people like fake motor sound. It gives them a sense of speed. I love that even in V mode, you can turn that off in this car, which is great.
and V Series and Cadillac in general is about no compromises, right? So we want to make sure that we're giving our customers the option to get the experience that they want out of the vehicle.
Yeah, I mean, really cool. I mean, the more I spend time with you and your colleagues, the more you're like, okay, there's some really cool trickery happening here, and you really didn't hold back that much on this car. And so, yes, it comes at a premium price, but the brake package, the tire, the suspension, the tuning of it is where it really comes into play. I know you had a big hand in that as well, so congratulations to you guys.
Really appreciate it. We're proud of it.
Dialed. It's really, for the compromise of what that car is meant to do, it's really good. So thanks for taking the time and joining us. This was really cool. Alex, we'll have to have you back on at some point in the future.
Absolutely.
And dude, congrats on the car. Nice work.
Thanks for having me.
Well, guys, the Cadillac OPTIQ. Final thoughts. First of all, I'm filming this a little bit later because I was asking Cadillac about the Super Cruise issue where it would recognize the vehicle in the other lane and slow down. They said that's an issue on all of the 2026 OPTIQs. They're going to issue a software update, I believe, over the air, and that will be fixed, as well as some improvements to other adaptive cruise control related features. So that is something that they know about and they will fix. Other than that, damn, the OPTIQ is a great car. I'm really impressed with the overall package, especially for 2026, going with that rear bias system. I actually drove the rear wheel drive and all-wheel drive after driving the V, and the rear and the all-wheel drive are super cushy, super plush, and I actually think for 99% of folks definitely are the way to go. But if you want a little bit of the sporting edge, well, the V is a cool car. It's surprisingly fun to drive hard, especially in competition mode. It allows for some oversteer. I think it looks really good. And the overall package is great. The problem is the price at, you know, we're almost 70 grand. That's a lot of money for a small electric SUV. And so I'd be really curious to see what the percentage split is on V versus the normal models. But you would expect the standard cars to, of course, sell more to more people. And I really think those cars are just awesome. Now, yes, we'd all love to see better driver assistance, but with standard Super Cruise along the entire range with lane centering on non-pre-mapped roads, I feel like that's acceptable. I feel like better charging would be great, but again, if you charge at home, then this should work just fine as well. And yeah, OPTIQ's a really cool car. I was really impressed with the overall driving character and the styling, and can't wait to test one here at the Out of Spec track and other places so that we can get the real numbers on the car. Stay tuned as well, because I actually took a Cadillac Escalade IQ after the event, and I have this one for a few weeks, so plenty more Cadillac content coming to you on this channel. Thanks for watching, and see you on another one again soon. Bye-bye.